trousers. I always seem to put everything in the wrong place. I've just pinned these two things, like, not where they are supposed to be. It's another giant pair of pants that, like, this is supposed to be the top, and oh god, like, why? Do you guys ever just see something and go, oh wow? Because the other day I went into a charity shop, was horribly disappointed by their sewing section, went into the kids toy section and went, oh wow, hubba hubba. And I was so impressed by this tiny little toy sewing machine that I decided I just had to bring it home. After all, it is Singer and I do unbox and review and collect Singer sewing machines, and I haven't got anything this cute and this small, and I figured I'd bring it home to be a joke amongst my collection. And then I actually tried sewing with it, and I'm not 100% sure what I thought was going to happen, but it was really good. And then I got on Google and essentially found out that the Singer Magic Tailor is a mini industrial sewing machine, and for about £5 I brought what I thought was a toy and got something really decent. However, rather than just unboxing this puppy, we are going to do something else with it. At the same charity shop I found this, which is a ClothKit, oh my god, words, what is it called? Overalls. I found overalls. That was way harder than it should have been. I found a ClothKit packet to make a pair of red overalls in my size, and fairly confident this should work out well. It comes with all the things, the instructions, haven't actually opened it yet. I think it's still in its original packaging. So we're going to put together this and this to make an outfit. Wish me luck. Okay, so this is the little machine here. Now it's really interesting. We have a cable for it that does plug in with a plug, and it has been pat tested, so I'm presuming it works. However, there's no foot pedal, so I'm not 100% sure. It's got an on and off switch, and the only thing I can think is that this on and off switch is going to tell it whether or not to sew. Now, the interesting thing with this is you've got the bobbin case here, which if you open it up, you can sit a little reel of thread, and that is actually why I've chosen to do this cloth kit, because it comes with the little reel of thread that should fit in there. A lot of my reels of thread are quite large, so it probably would not fit in that space, which is a shame. It's also got this cute little drawer at the top, which has an extra 2 bobbins. It's got some sewing needles. It's got these things, not 100% sure what these things are, maybe some kind of bobbin winders, but that's really adorable, and I like the fact it just slots in the top there. That then folds away, and then what's really interesting to me is it's already threaded up, so I'm not going to unthread it, but it actually has a shuttle bobbin. It's also got this style here, not sure what this style does, we'll figure that out in a minute, and with that I suppose let's get it all plugged in and see how we go. Right, we've got a little bit of scrap fabric here. I think it's going to start stitching when I turn it on. Oh wow. So as that sews, this bit at the top actually spins, and yeah, I can see that's how it's done. An odd sewing machine she may be, but those stitches are neat. They're really neat. I'm guessing that you can't adjust the stitch length or anything. I can't see anything that would potentially allow me to do that, but honestly, it's absolutely fine. So, well, now we know she works, I suppose let's unbox this and get sewing. So I unboxed the packet of materials to make the overalls. The packet said that all the fabric is 100% cotton, and I have to admit it just feels lovely to handle. However, where it's been folded for a lot of years, it was very firmly creased, so I went and gave it an iron. Oh, and the kit also comes with this extra scrap material, literally labelled spare material for tests or repairs, which I think is very cool and a very nice addition. And boy oh boy, one of the reasons I've decided that I love these cloth kits is simply because the fabric quality is just amazing. I really wish I could send you all the scraps just so that you can feel it for yourself, because I mean, this is the most reliable fabric I think I've ever brought. Even when ordering from the same supplier, you sometimes find, oh, this is like this and this is like that. Whereas cloth kits, yes, it's different fabric, but they're all really good. One of the reasons that I picked cloth kits as the thing to make is because these were supposed to be easy projects I could use to show off the sewing machine and not my sewing skill. But we have a problem, which is that if you look at the size of this and then you compare it to the size of me, these are maybe just about big enough to be pants, but I don't think they're going to fit over my butt. So somehow, even though it says, well, it says sizes children's and adults,
but it doesn't actually say the size anywhere on the packet, so I'm guessing that I've managed to get children's size, which is really annoying. So I'm just thinking if we can maybe cut these in half and just put strips, because I actually have this exact fabric in black that I brought ages ago for a project that I've never ended up doing, and basically extend it into slightly larger overalls and then maybe also extend the legs. Not 100% sure if this is going to work, and we're going to have to fiddle around with it for a little bit. I think what I'm going to do first is pin all this together, see where it needs to be made bigger, and then go from there. As I was trying to pin the overalls together, I got an unexpected visitor, and no, I don't own a dog. So I don't actually know who this dog is, but he's just been hanging out at my house all day, and sure, no, not the cat food. Come here. Why, hi. I don't know who you are, but you're very cute and fluffy. Is it because I've left my door open?
So yeah, that's been happening all day. I mean, he seems sweet. I've got a stable yard outside my door where people do tend to let their dogs run around, and normally they don't run into my house because having the door open is like the only way that I get any fresh air in here because I don't really have any windows. But yeah, always happy to make a new friend, random as it is. Okay, so this is the size of the overalls and this is the size of me, and the crotch is about there, and these are definitely kid sized. So I think what I'm going to do is cut a strip of fabric that's relatively wide to go in either side. I think I'm probably going to have to extend the back and the front of the overalls upwards a little bit as well, just because if that is the crotch, it isn't really going to come up that much past my boobs. We'll unpin this, we'll iron some black fabric once I figured out where it is, and then we'll go from there. Knowing that the red legs had to be extended, I folded and ironed them in half before giving the fold line a snip, snip, snip to cut right up that side, and that is where I would add the extension. So I think this is the black fabric I was thinking of just here, which I have quite a bit of it, but it is going to take a bit of a wiggle to get it out of the pile there. But we'll pull it out. I'm going to see if I've got some scrap fabric that I can just pin to figure out how much I actually need, and we'll go from there. I'm not sure if I should do it straight or in like a bit of a bell shape where the top's wider than the bottom. We'll figure it out. It'll be fine. I tried to film me cutting out the scrap fabric to add extensions, but this cute little dog just kept getting in the way, and no, still have no idea who he is. We don't know who you are, but you're a good dog, aren't you? Okay, so these now fit a lot better, though they're not wanting to stay up. I think what I'm going to have to do is put elastic along the tops of these. I was thinking of putting a dart in. If I put a dart in, I don't think I'm going to be able to get them on. So we're going to put elastic at the top of those to gather them up so that I can slip in these, and we are going to have to definitely extend the top because that does not even attempt to cover my boobs. These bits should be fine, I think. If I need to, I might just add a black band, extra centimetre or so. And they're not full length, and I'm 50-50 about whether I'm going to extend that with like a black cuff or not. I think I'm going to make the rest of it, just see how I feel about it being a bit shorter. At the end of the day, overalls, they're made for like when I'm painting or sewing or just doing messy things, so them being a bit shorter probably wouldn't matter so much, but I definitely think that these are good. I was going to go for 15 centimetres, I actually went for 20, and I'm pretty happy with how loose they are because we do need them to be comfy and easy to move. So let's iron out the black fabric and get that going. Yeah, I still love them. I began by repinning all of the red seams I could before finally going over to my mini sewing machine where we got stitching. I decided to use up the last of the dark thread before putting on the red, and sewing with this was super weird because my foot kept looking for the pedal, and then my brain had to remind my foot that no such foot pedal even existed, and my hand had to remember to switch the machine on and off, which it kind of kept forgetting to do, so I overran the seams several times. And also, I am just going to say none of this is bad, it's just a very different way to sew than what I'm used to, which, you know, we all have to try new things occasionally. Also, as an FYI, I am going to be using my big sewing machine just to overlock the edges, simply because I want these overalls to last and not fray to nothing after a few wears, and the little one physically cannot do overlocking, so we're just going to pretend that my big fancy Janome is now a little overlocker that is its sole purpose for today. So I was going to iron, cut out and prepare my black fabric, but it looks like someone has claimed my ironing board as their sleeping quarters. And you're just so cute, you're such a distraction. So let's stitch another red seam first, and then we can come back to this. Who's the cutest ginger purdy cat?
Do you like preventing me from doing work, Sherlock? The pins were brought out and we attached the front and back of the overalls along the inside seam. Then it was time to stitch, and I honestly thought it was going great until we got to the end and I realised my bobbin had run out halfway through the first leg. But that's fine. So we repinned that, and then I had to figure out how to wind the bobbin, which meant looking up a PDF version of the instructions that should have come with the machine and sussing all that out. And once the machine was finally rethreaded, we actually got to stitch that bit again. Thank God for that, eh? It also got overlocked just to make sure those edges don't fray when I wear this. When I picked it up, I realised immediately that this black cotton had a bit of a stretch in one direction, so I decided I would cut the fabric so that the stretch went across my leg rather than down to make these overalls even more comfy. And while I cut up and pinned the black fabric, how about we have a chat about what I've managed to find out about this little beauty of a sewing machine. This machine is known as the Singer M100 Magic Tailor. According to what I found online, it's a solid and well-constructed, simple, small machine. It only has one constant sewing speed and one straight stitch. When it came out in the 80s, it was advertised as a mending machine and became really popular with small sewing and tailoring shops who would use it to make minor repairs and alterations, which is really cool. It is literally a mini industrial.
I am so glad that I decided to try these on before I stitched them, because this is what I hate about trousers. I always seem to put everything in the wrong place. I've just pinned these two things, like, not where they are supposed to be. It's another giant pair of pants that, like, this is supposed to be the top, and oh god, like, why? Okay, let's unpin these and redo it. Back to talking about the sewing machine.
These machines were made in France starting in 1982. The machines were constructed from an aluminium skeleton with a plastic cover. Unusually for any machine, the reel of thread is mounted inside the hinged faceplate over the needle bar. My theory of this is that it made it easier to travel with and set up the machine, as the thread wouldn't fall off or take up any extra room if you wanted to travel with it. Inside the faceplate there are also the tension discs, which are not adjustable in this model, making it very easy to use. As well, you just set up and go and don't have to worry about fiddling with any of the tensions or other settings.
Okay, so these fit and they're actually super comfy. I'm really glad that I put the stretch across there because it just gives it a little bit more movement. Also, this red and black, I love it, but I am getting some serious Harley Quinn vibes here, which a little bit 50-50 as to whether or not I like that, but don't suppose there's anything much I can do about it now. I am going to stitch these together and then we are actually going to look at the instructions, because I've just realised that, you know what, I haven't actually looked at the instructions for this project since I started sewing it, which I might want to do. I do need to extend the top, but we'll look at the instructions first, figure out what everything is supposed to be and do and all that, and then we'll see where we can go from there. I also think I am going to be rocking the 3/4 length trousers. Ben wanted me to cut them up to be shorts, but I want these to be like my painting overalls so that I can put them on when I'm doing messy things. It doesn't really matter too much if I get them ruined, rather than hot pants that I can wear to the beach. But yeah, so this is going well.
Honestly, if I had gotten this machine as a kid, I think it would have made sewing a hell of a lot easier. I remember my nan got me a small pink sewing machine with several stitches that honestly couldn't sew it through anything heavier than a very lightweight cotton, whereas this machine can not only sew through everything I've tried to put it through, but also is so easy to use. In fact, the only thing I don't really like about it is that I cannot for the life of me seem to find any spare bobbins for sale online, meaning that I'm going to have to be very careful not to lose any of the three that I've got.
So if I wanted to, I could probably just chuck a waistband on these and call them a pretty jazzy pair of trousers, but we are aiming for overalls because I want something that I can wear that's going to get messy, and I've just realised now that they look like actual trousers that I can potentially put on. I have not looked at the instructions that came with this stuff like once since I started sewing this, which might be an idea considering it comes with, where is it? It comes with a little packet of accessories and stuff that I'm supposed to be using on this. Yeah, let's open this up, read through the instructions and see what I need to do. I definitely need to cut out a few more pieces in black. I need to figure out what's needs to be extended or replaced and all the rest of it. So open this, read the instructions, see how we go.
So I undid the packet and had a look at what it contained. Then I read through the instructions, taking various pieces and pinning them appropriately. I also got the black fabric and began cutting extensions to the front and back and backings for the shoulder straps, so I don't have to just have rolled over edges like the instructions suggest is how it's supposed to be. These all then got stitched together and I finally ran out of the black reel of thread the machine had come with, so I started on the red thread that had come in my packet. I have several more of these kits by the way, mostly for skirts, and if you would like to see me sew them on other vintage sewing machines over the next few months, please make sure you leave a comment down below so that I know you guys are enjoying this.
Okay, so this is looking really, really good. And oh my gosh, that little machine is like powering through everything. I am going to do some top stitching, so that'll be the real challenge because both the cottons are quite thick and heavy duty. So we'll see how it handles that, but overall it is going very, very well. However, it is button voting time again. If you would like to vote on what buttons I use for my projects, because it seems to be the main thing I use Discord for, please join the Discord. Link is in the description down below, and we have a nice little chatty community over there that I would love for you to join.
Isn't that right, Lily? We want everyone to join the Discord.
For the button choices, I've actually found this thing of buttons I got from a charity shop about 4 years ago, and I've never actually used anything from it. I've also just started sorting all my buttons into jars, so this will hopefully become free for other bits and pieces. But we have large square button, small square button, small shiny black button, and large shiny black button. Now honestly, I don't know which one of these I think I like best, so we're just going to put it over to the Discord, and whatever they decide is what we're going to go with, which should be quite fun.
Top stitching the shoulder straps went very smoothly and actually turned out super neat and nice. I used dark thread on the bottom and red thread on the top, but to make contrasting lines that I thought would look really, really good. These were then attached to the back of the overalls before I got started on overlocking the edges of the pockets to keep what would be the inside edge from fraying. Then I got up a pretty hummingbird picture, just a random one that I found online, and I specifically got one that could be stitched in one line and traced it onto the fabric pockets using a pencil. Yes, I did this directly from my computer screen. Yes, I know this is a bad idea. I've been doing it for years though, and so far nothing has gone wrong, so bite me. A little hand stitching and some embroidery thread later, and boy oh boy did these things look nice. After that, I marked out and cut out some straight lines of black fabric. This then got pinned onto the raw edges of the overalls and stitched on with the mini machine to act as binding. So cute.
So these, honest to God, are just looking too cute. I have put all the binding on. I'm going to fold it down. I'm going to hand stitch the inside to keep it nice and neat and tidy, which will be absolutely fine. We'll do that in a little bit. Do need to also put the pockets on. With the pockets, I'm thinking that I'm going to put them about there. And I'm also thinking of what I'm going to do, because I have these little plastic things which normally would have gone there to make like a, I don't know, like a hooky thing, but I'm going to put buttons there instead. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is put two of these hooky things onto this, fold it in half. This is two of them, I just haven't cut it out yet, and put that at the bottom of the pocket so that I've got something to put my keys and, I don't know, random tools and whatever on. So that should work quite nicely. Also, I don't think I've shown you guys this, but I have been doing some looking into ClothKit things, and I keep seeing like ones that have been made but have labels in, and I was super confused about this because my last packet didn't have any labels, but this one does. It has these cute little ClothKit labels that you can stitch into the back of your garments, including this one, which even has washing instructions on it, so I am going to be sewing these in. But yeah, that's really cute. It's a lovely little touch as well, especially the washing instructions, because it says exactly what this is made from.
Next, I took the pockets and folded over the top of them before stitching them down, and yes, I did this on the big machine. I just didn't have any more dark reels of thread that would fit inside the smaller machine, which I suppose is another downside to it, because all my reels of thread are quite tall and they just wouldn't fit, so I couldn't use it. However, I am going to justify using the big machine by saying that all of these stitches are purely decorative, so it's actually nothing structural, so technically the garment has been made on the small machine. I'm just using the big one to add pretty things to it. I then pinned the main pocket onto the chest while the two larger pockets went onto the black part of either leg, adding that plastic hook thing either side so that I could hang pens, keys or other things off them if I needed to. This is a working outfit after all. The big machine was then used again for the top stitching, and that was all the machine stitching done. Good little machine, you did so very, very well.
Tell me that is not the most perfect pocket you ever did see. I love it. Oh, it's so good. And with the last of the machine stitching done, my next job is to go around all of the raw edges that have the binding on, fold the binding to the inside, pin it down, and that's all going to get hand stitched, and then that's done. No, button. We have a button to add. I'm still waiting for the conclusion of the button votes. I like to give them about 3 days just to make sure everyone sees it and can vote, but at the moment I think the square one's winning, but we'll see. It could take a turn. It has taken a turn before. It may do again, but for now let's get all this pinned and then we can start hand stitching. And also guys, just as a sneak preview, if you're going to be around for Halloween, this is a nearly headless bat that I am currently making. Also the most awesome trick-and-treating waistcoat ever, so make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss it. And now on with the hand stitching.
And we pinned and we pinned and we pinned, and eventually, after much toil and hardship, we were done.
I tried to film this, but my camera battery ran out and now it's really painfully stabbing me, but I nearly forgot about the elastic in the side, so I've just roughly pinned some in there,
just for, you know, just to make it a little bit tighter, a little bit more fitted. I definitely think that's going to do the trick. The other side's still nice and loose, but now we're going to take this off and cut this because, oh my god, it hurts. So I put the elastic in, and while I was working hard doing this, Sherlock decided to dive bomb directly onto my pin pot. Damn cat is lucky he didn't skewer his cute little toe beans, and oh yes, I enjoyed cleaning up this mess rather than finishing my new overalls. Thanks, kitten. Definitely glad I've got pets. Then we were at last onto the hand stitching. I forgot to put my thimble on, and I honestly couldn't figure out why my fingers were getting so sore until about halfway through the first side when I remembered I was an idiot. Unfortunately, I didn't get all the hand stitching done that night, so the next afternoon we just carried straight on doing the other elastic side and then going over both the hems of the legs. And the winner of the button vote is, drum roll please, the square ones. So these two adorable buttons, I actually do have two slightly small ones, but I don't think I need to use those. So these are going to be the buttons for my overalls, and we're going to be putting them on the overalls and the buttonholes so that the buttonholes are at a diagonal, so they are going to sit nicely like that. It's going to be really, really cute. So now we just need to cut those buttonholes and do stuff like that. It's about 11 o'clock at night. We're going to get these finished so that we can do a grand reveal tomorrow. The funny thing is that when I asked Ben to bet what buttons would win the vote, he actually did choose the square ones. I'm not disappointed though. My favourite ones were actually the large round ones, but it was pointed out to me that these made it look very Mickey Mouse, and that's not really the look I want to go for here. So we got the buttonholes stitched, and then the buttons were attached, and then, yep, that's right people, we were done! Now, time for the grand reveal. Okay, please excuse the mess. I am filming several videos right now, and my parents just dropped off a whole load of things that I didn't realise I still had stored at their house, so oops. But these are done, and they look great, and I love them. And this little machine is now one of my favourite sewing machines that I own, and honestly, whether it's teaching someone how to sew on it, or if I just need something set up as a straight stitch because maybe I'm doing loads of fancy stuff on my big machine, this is the machine that I'm gonna call. It is so strong, it works amazing. It sewed through all of this really heavy cotton with no problems whatsoever. The only thing that I wish is that it had a back stitch, like just a quick back stitch just to lock those stitches in place so I didn't have to manually tie everything off. Would have been really, really nice. The other thing that I noticed, which isn't really an issue or a complaint, but more of a annoying observation, is that the bobbin would always run out really, really quick. Now let's face it, I was doing a lot more stitching on this outfit than I intended to. We had, well, the pockets I was expecting to have to do, but everything that's black was added on, meaning that there was at least 6, 7, 8 extra seams, over double what there should have been originally. However, it was easy to wind up, having the little bobbin thing there that just clips into there. The fact that the needle runs while the bobbin is winding, a little bit annoying and maybe not the safest thing, but you know what, it's a tiny basic machine. It isn't supposed to be overly complicated, and dude's a legend. I don't really know what more I can say. I absolutely love this thing. I am going to continue leaving him out just in case, like I said, I'm doing lots of fancy stuff on my big machine. I just need something black and white to go on here. We only have one unwound bobbin, which I'm going to try and leave unwound, so we always have one black bobbin and one white bobbin. Oh yeah, my only other annoyance is that I always thought my hands were quite small, but trying to get this needle threaded when there's so little room in there, very, very awkward. This machine gets 10 out of 10. Does what it says in the box. It's a mini industrial, and I couldn't be happier with it. And talking of things I couldn't be happier with, have you guys seen these overalls? They are utterly awesome. The hand embroidery came out really, really nice and didn't take me too long to do, which I was a bit relieved about because I didn't want to get stuck on the embroidery, because this video, it isn't really about making the overalls. I wanted it to be about the machine, and let me know how I've done with this. I wanted to change up how I do my machine unboxings because, well, honestly, I'm getting a bit bored of it, and if I'm getting a bit bored of it, then I'm guessing you guys are as well. But if you want to compare this to my other machine unboxing videos, the link for the playlist will be at the end of this one, so please do check them out and let me know what you think, what I should change, what I should do in the future. Do you guys like this kind of content, or would you prefer that I just went back to unboxing the machines and not sewing anything with them? But yeah, the overalls, exactly what I wanted though. They're a little bit short, which, to be honest, I kind of wanted them a little bit short. They're probably a little bit shorter than I actually intended them to be, but these are supposed to be for messy stuff, which means paint, glue, anything chemical wise could get ruined, which is one of the reasons I'm so happy that they're made out of really heavy cottons. The fact that they're short, when doing messy stuff, even if I'm outside, will often be in bare feet because I don't actually like wearing shoes. So, you know, if I get paint all over my feet, it isn't going to get all over the bottom of the trousers, so I can't really complain about the fact that they're short. If anything, it's probably a good thing. The buttons as well, and this is my only concern, is that where the buttons are, obviously this wasn't meant to have buttons, it was meant to have like a strap at the top that everything clipped into. I just kind of feel like it's going to pull the cotton and the buttons may come off, so what I think I'm going to do is just on the back here where I've sewn on the button, I might just add a patch of really strong, maybe like denim fabric, and then restitch the button just to give it that extra hold so that it doesn't get pulled off. They're comfy to sit in, they're comfy to wear, they look really good, which I never thought I'd look good in overall, so the fact that I like how these sit, probably a big thing, to be honest. But otherwise guys, if you enjoyed this video, please do remember to drop it a like. Subscribe if you want to see more cosplay, sewing, vintage sewing machine content. Don't forget to leave me a comment letting me know what you think of everything. If you wanted to check out my sewing patterns, my Etsy and Ko-Fi shop are linked in the description down below if you want to make your own awesome outfits. Check it out in the description down below, and otherwise have a beautiful day guys. I will see you next Wednesday. Until then, bye!